You are looking live at the CSS 737-500, the newly updated CSS 737-500. It's version 1.9, I believe. And we are in classic Continental colors here at Cleveland's Hopkins International Airport. How you doing, everybody? CJ here. I am your classic jet sim pilot, former airline pilot, current for fun pilot, and current classic jet sim pilot. We're gonna give the version 1.9 a little tryout today on a classic Continental route between Cleveland and LaGuardia, New York. There have been a lot of changes made to the 737 as CSS continues to improve this product and work on certain aspects of it. And they're making steps forward. They are absolutely making steps forward and improving it. But ain't nothing to it but to do it. Let's get inside and we'll take a look at how things have come. So here we are on the flight deck. Again, same. I don't think much has changed on the flight deck itself as far as the presentation of the flight deck, and I don't think it needs to. I think it's a pretty decent looking flight deck, frankly. But let's go to the EFB. There are some new things that you'll see throughout the flight, and we'll experience them and take a look. Cleveland to LaGuardia. Here we are today. We are Continental Flight 1750. Yep, COA 1750, Cleveland to LaGuardia. 14653 is our end number. 737-500. We're all good to go. Estimated takeoff weight about 108, almost 109,000 pounds. 350 will be our altitude today. We'll throw that in just to remind us. And the lights are dimmed right now, so don't be alarmed about that. We'll turn those up in a second. 350. And let's take a look at the weather. Cleveland right now, 10 miles, 1300 overcast, -1, -3. 3015. So we'll go ahead and throw that in the altimeter. 3015. Oh. Overshot. 3015. At LaGuardia, winds out of the northwest, 16 gusts at 23, 10 miles, 2,900 broken, 3,900 broken, 11,000 broken, 20,000 broken. It's a little warmer in New York, 13, temperature 7, 2981. Yeah, pretty steep pressure drop between Cleveland and New York, so you know it's windy. And looks like the winds are going to stay out of the northwest, gusty winds with decent visibilities and relatively high ceilings. Temporary 2,500 broken, so we don't see any delay issues weather-wise. Same with our alternate. Our alternate actually has worse weather than our primary, but still not bad. Just some light rain showers in the area, 1,200. Some clouds, not super low. So nothing really to be super concerned about. So we'll go to the load. We'll check out. We do have ground power hooked up to the airplane, and we're at. We've got the main passenger door open. Our load today is 105,000 pounds. Here we go. 104 and 13.9. 104. 13.9. 5,200 pounds of cargo. Didn't pull the passenger load over. And what was our, one more time, our zero fuel weight should have been about 95.7. So we'll make sure, yep, pretty close. We'll just do an instant load. We're at 95.9. All right, very good. Okay. Hear the boarding music start. It's pretty loud. I'm going to go ahead and shut the door for now. But there's your boarding music. Yeah. A little loud. Because it's still not playing in the cockpit. Alright, the battery's on. The APU switch. Well, we can go ahead and start the APU. Listen to the APU start up. We'll get the show on the road. Okay. Temp's coming down. Complete's coming up to speed. We should get the blue light here in a second. And then we can put the APU on bus. Here we go. APU is on bus. We can actually, oops, remove GPU and IRSs. Put nav. Make sure the on-bat on DC light comes off. It's off on the left, off on the right. That's very good. We can bring our fuel pumps since we're all ready to go. Bring our fuel pumps on. But I don't believe we have anything in the center today, so we get the lights. So we can turn those off. Galley power can come on. The circuit breaker and panel dimmers can be as we need them. Emergency exit lights. Closed and guarded. No smoking light can come on. Fasten seatbelt sign we can leave off for now. Actually, we're already boarded and we're fueled, so we'll turn the seatbelt sign on as well. And then we can come back up to the top, get the window switches. Oops, that was not the window switch in the center, it's just the 4 switches. And then we have recirc fan comes to auto. The left pack switch comes to auto. Isolation valve goes to open. APU bead comes on. Now we've got good duct pressure. We are going to 30, what was our altitude today? 35,000 feet. So we can select that. 35,000 feet. And our land, let's see, at LaGuardia, it's going to be pretty close to sea level, right? Sea level, we'll just pull up the airport information page for right now. 21 feet. So we'll set it a little bit higher at 30, and the position lights we can put on steady. All right. Now let's bring up the main lights. Bring up the panel lights. Background light's not going to do a whole lot. There's the map, or the nav display light. And the ADI light. So we're good there. And then we can bring our panel lights up here in the center panel. That's good. And we've got lights up here now, 35 1. All right, so I think we got all the lights up. Altimeters 3015, set left, center, and right. So we're good to go there. We will erect and cage the standby gyro. We're good there. Run the fuel quantity test. Set 1,000 feet above the ground here. All right, now let's get into the FMC. So if you'll recall, and we should see a new feature here as well. We do not have a GPS on board this aircraft, so therefore we have to set our initial position. And we can put in our current airport here, and then it gives us the geographical center of the airport for that. But we can also put in our gate, and I've already forgotten what gate we're at. Charlie 17, maybe? Yep. So let's see if the gate's in the database. It is not. So what we can do is we can look at Z charts. We'll pull up Cleveland. Taxi. Parking gates and coordinates. We'll look at it here. Close this. Charlie 17. North 41.245. West 08150.5. See if it takes it like that. There we are. 41.245, 8155. 41.245, 8150.5. All right, so now the IRS has an idea. We tell it where to begin, and let's throw Cleveland in here. Our destination is LGA here. And KCLE, KLGA can go in here into the company route. And now, new feature, it pulls our route out of SimBrief. So major and Echo Tango Golf In my brain, I can't remember what that is. So we can double check that against the sim brief. Major, ETG, and then the arrival. Yep. And then we've got the Pink Floyd 1 departure. Out to major, and then the MIP4 arrival. So we can activate this, execute, departure and arrival. Departing Cleveland, we can expect runway 6 right. And the Pink Floyd 1 out to major, execute, goes back to the index. That display changed correctly. Here at LaGuardia, they're running 3-1. Yeah, because of the really strong winds. So we'll plan on the localizer 3-1. And the MIP4 ETG. Execute. Very good. So now our route is 6 right, Pink Floyd, 1, major. That takes us to ETG, and then we'll join the arrival. There shouldn't be a discontinuity there. ETG. Not in database. What's the, on the ETG arrival, what is the first arrival? Oops, Navgraph is what I want. Cleveland, I want LaGuardia, I want the arrival. I guess that's Milton. Yeah, Milton. So the first after Milton is Mark. Can I just delete the discontinuity? Major. Yep, Mark. That's there. So I guess it just wants you to delete the discontinuity, which to me is a little odd, but all right. 350 is our cruise altitude. Our zero fuel weight. Let's go back here. Let's pull up our plan. Our zero fuel weight is 95,737. 95.7. There we go. Our cruise wind is 266 at 87. Top of climb 08T will be, well, it's 3 degrees plus 3, so we can do that. Plus 3 deviation, plus 3, yep. 18,000 feet is our transition altitude. Our reserve fuel is 2.4, our alternate is 3.7. Oh, it's only one. 2.4 and 3.7. 5, 6.1. And we have a cost index of 56 this morning. Execute that. Takeoff. OAT is -1. And let's do our performance. Cleveland, 6 right. Cleveland, 6 right. Flaps 5. Anti-ice is off. Bleeds are on. MEL, no. Wind direction. Our winds here, let me check it real quick. 020 at 14. 020. Normal, dry. Temperature is -1. And even though I set the units to pounds, you notice on this page, on the performance page, it keeps it as kilograms. I've reported that. Hopefully they'll update that so that this page respects the units that are selected. The altimeter is 3019, which is 1022. And we're at 90. Takeoff weight 108,650. 108,650. See, now I have to convert it. 108,650. 108,650. LB's is 49.3. Oh, we're right there. Excellent. So we've got 130, 131, 137, 130, 131, 137, and we can put 137 put our V2 into here. Excellent. We don't, do we get an L a temp? We do, 44 degrees. Yeah. Should have known it was going to race him. 30, 31, 37. $137. All right. Pre-flight is complete. Runway 6 right. I don't remember that being on the previous version. I have to look that function up. I wonder if that means when we get to the end of the runway, we can update the position real quickly. That's kind of slick if it is the case. Okay. Let's see. We've got everything set up. 30, 31, 37. And now we've got the click spots here, so we can set the bugs for takeoff by clicking here. 80 knots, 30, 31, 37, and then our clean speed. So we've got 80 knots, V1, VR, V2 plus 15, and then flaps up maneuvering speed. Excellent. So we got that. We can do our final. We got our lights set. VHF 1 and 2. We're not operating on VATSIM this morning since we're not super familiar with this aircraft. And anytime there's a major update, I like to fly for at least a flight first to make sure there's nothing that would prevent me from flying with VATSIM. So we'll leave our frequencies as they are. The nav push buttons we can put into auto. The ADF is set. HSI brightness knob is set. EADI knobs are set. Well, let us check this. We want that and data, airport and data. 10 miles, traffic on, and we're on the map mode. So that's all good. I'd like to set 400 feet in the decision height window just to start, because that's when I can go into nav if I need to. Oh, I got a cup of coffee. Just noticed that. And HSI range, traffic, map, we're good. We've got our course knobs. So we're departing runway 6. So we'll go to our Navigraph page, change it back to Cleveland, taxi, airport, bam, hide, 6 right. So 58 degrees will be our departure. So 58. Wonder if they... No. I was wondering if they built in the support for the Honeycomb Bravo. But you still got to spin it by hand. 58 degrees. And then we can set the first officers also. All right. Flight directors can come on. The AT auto throttle can come on. Hold it for a couple of seconds. That is now armed. V2 is set. Heading knob is set. Altitude is set. 35,000 feet. We've got the other flight director on, and so on. And now on this airplane, we do not pre-arm VNav or LNav. That's done after 400 feet on takeoff. And now we are ready to start. So let's call GSX, and we will start the pushback from the gate. We want to push back nose, we'll call it nose right. Nope. There goes the jetway. Close the door. Remove the chocks. We'll go back to our performance page. Turn our beacon on. She's going to stand in the wheel well for a second. Okay, turn the wrong light on. The anti-collision light is on. It's on steady. I wonder... Interesting now. Okay. Well, I think there's something going on with the lighting. No strobes. Oh, I did have it on strobe and steady. That's my fault. No anti-collision light. We want nose right. Okay, we can get the hydraulic pumps on. My goodness. Hydraulic pumps, yaw damper, beacons on, isolation valve. Go to open. It is open. And start with engine 2. Ground it. N2. About 25% N2. We'll bring the fuel lever up. EGT. Watching that EGT for the hot start. Watching N2 for the hung start. We'll turn number 1. And 2. Oil pressure. There's our 25%, and we just hit max motoring. The more air moving through the engine, typically the better it is for a cooler start. It's a little harder on the starter, but it should be timing the starts too. There goes the starter valve is closed. 2 good starts. We can bring the gens online. APU comes offline. Close the APU. Packs are in auto. APU bleed is off. And no anti-ice is needed. We don't have any visible moisture. We may need it shortly after takeoff, though. RTO. We don't arm the speed brakes in this plane. Flaps can come to 5. Just heard the cabin ding that they're ready in the back. Transponder can come on. And we can do a control check. Okay. I think we're good to go. Generator switches are on. The pitot heat needs to come on. There we go. Left and right path switches are in auto. Isolation valve is in auto. APU bleed switch is off. APU switch is off. Flight ground switch. Go to flight. Engine start switches, we can go to continuous. And the auto brake goes to RTO. I think we are ready to go. We can do a quick recall. Nothing's outstanding. And we are ready to taxi. So we will head out to runway 6 right. So over here off of Concourse C, we'll take a right and then head down the parallel, which is Lima. Taxi light can come on. Do I have that bound yet? No. On. Release the brake. Clear left. Clear right. And here we go. Spot 4, taxi. Juliet 2 here. Turn left on Lima. And we'll head out to 6 right. So, yeah, so impressions so far, the update. I like the... oh, you know what I forgot about this update? Checklist! And it's big. I was doing a checklist I have on the side. So we now have a checklist here for the 737 Classic. It's a big checklist. But I kind of like it. I like the idea that it's here. I just wish it was a little bit smaller, or you could move it around. Get it out of your way. Alright, there's 6 right. And we'll take Lima all the way down. So if you've watched me fly the CSS 737-500 in its previous incarnations, you know that I am a big fan with the way CSS simulates the instrumentation. And I know this company works in the professional simulation world, right? And I've always wondered if that's what they do. Because the animations on the nav display particularly, and the needle behavior is so spot on. Better than pretty much any other developer, I feel like. When you scroll like the heading bug, it doesn't, well, you'll see in flight, but it doesn't, how can I say, it doesn't start and stop instantly. There's a soft start and stop to it, which is present in a real aircraft with this generation of avionics. Notice how the needles are not like locked perfectly still when because there are radio waves floating around, causing the needles to move a little bit as you go. They just do a very nice job of simulating the instruments. The way the altimeter moves, right? Notice how the needle lags just a hair behind what I do with when I adjust the pressure. In this type of electronic altimeter, that's common. On the general aviation type, they're sort of tied together. But anyway, kudos to them for that. I like the cockpit modeling. The exterior modeling is nice. This is a third-party livery, so it's sort of hard to tell. But it looks like they've cleaned up some of the seams that were visible before. So that's nice to see. And sounds still need some work. The cabin itself, is fine. It's a little kind of not super high res detail in a lot of places, but I spend so little time in the cabin, that kind of stuff doesn't bother me as much as it bothers other people. Maybe when we get up to cruise, we'll do a quick walk through the cabin. But the thing about the sounds, though, from what I understand, is they are working on a complete overhaul of the sound. They've brought in a third party to work on it, I believe is what they said. I'm not privy to any information that isn't out there, so I know that's a priority for them. And they've also changed the pricing structure, or they're in the process of changing it, so you'll be able to buy each variant separately. I believe the subscription model will still be around, but there will be a different sort of buy model as well. The 300 and the 400 are on the way. So, and this was the final kind of big update until until the other two are released. Anyway, things are happening at CSS. I love to see it. I love having the classic 7.3 in our arsenal. And it is a very much wanted aircraft. We'll take the left here and head all the way down to the end. Theoretically, we don't need it, but I did not put in an added or shortened takeoff when I did the performance, so we'll just taxi it down to the end. So one kind of fun thing too they did, which is a very nice realistic touch, and something I wish I could do. Like I do it here in my sim pit when I do it, but if you need to cross feed fuel, the checklist you can put in between the thrust levers, the throttles, as a reminder. Now I do that in real life, in other airplanes, but you don't have to in the CSS. You can place the virtual, and that's just a reminder that you're cross-feeding. That type of thing can be done, I mean, to remind you of anything. That's when you're putting a system in a normal but temporary state that isn't otherwise obviously enunciated. But that's a common thing. That's a pretty cool little touch. I like that. Speaking of checklists, before takeoff, flaps 5, green light, stabilizer trim 3.4. Yeah, that checklist is much too big to be terribly useful. Also, take a look at the engine readings throughout. I've got both throttles at idle. Notice they're a little bit different, and I am at idle. We'll go ahead and, since we don't have any traffic, we will head right on out. So, lights, camera, and action will be the bleeds, which we're going to leave on, or the packs, and we'll stop the stopwatch. Alright, auto throttle is armed. 80.8 will be our reduced N1. We'll hold the brakes, bring the power up. I'll press the toggle button, which I have bound. We'll see if it brings it up. It does. N1. Here we go. Power is set.
Hey, knots.
We got call-outs. We got a crew now. Check. Thrust hold. Throttle hold.
V1. Rotate.
Oh, a little touchy on rotation.
Positive rate.
Gear up. Bring it right on up to that 15 degrees or so, 17 degrees. We can go to LNAV, VNAV, start our turn following the flight director. Flaps up. Still hand flying, following the flight director. Flap 0. So accelerate up to 250 knots. Still hand flying. Flap is up here. Off. And we're through the layer. So first impressions, once we're off the ground, it hand flies okay. It's a little sensitive on pitch during rotation. I had a really quick rotation, and then as I backed off a little bit, the nose, it's very, like I said, just very sensitive. Still accelerating 250 knots, trying to follow the flight director. The flight director is not, it's a little spongy in how it's directing me. It should kind of be a little hair more aggressive so that as I roll out, I'm right on course. But notice how it's still crossed, it's still commanding a right turn. And I'm not quite there yet, so now it's coming back a little bit. Yeah, there's still a little bit of softness to the flight director commands. In real life, flight directors are very easy to fly and follow. And it's not bad. It's just taking a little getting used to. Because most airplanes in Flight Simulator, the flight director is very aggressive, very, very touchy. If you're off a little bit, it immediately commands a turn. Whereas in real life, flight directors are very smooth and therefore encourage smooth flying. All right, we're through 10. I'm going to go ahead and turn the autopilot on. That shouldn't happen. It's almost like it thinks there's control input, but I'm trimmed, right? The airplane's not moving around. And I should be able to cancel that warning. That's very odd. I wonder why it's doing that. Well, I don't want to fly all day with that stupid noise going. Let's try it this way. 80 degrees. I tried disengaging it there. Sorry, all my attention's over here and not on what I'm doing. Oh, pressing the control wheel steering button. That is very odd. Alright, VNav, LNav. Well, we might be hand flying all the way to LaGuardia. That is very odd. That is not something I experienced in other aircraft. Okay. So let's get back on. The flight director should be a little bit more aggressively commanding, putting my nose in a position to accelerate on the climb, because we are set for a 276 knot climb up to Mach 7.3. Turn our range up a little bit. Well, having a deferred autopilot is not totally unrealistic. It happens. First officer gets a lot of stick time on those days. Out over Curdy on the departure. The top of climb is coming into view. Let's try this again. So once again, the airplane's in trim. I'm not fighting it. I'm not. Usually when an autopilot won't engage in that circumstances because you're way out of trim. So you're holding a lot of control pressure and the airplane's trying to, trying to do something else. That's why it's always a good practice. And see, I'm almost at 30 degrees. That flight director is still commanding a turn. That's pretty aggressive. Just because I have it set here, although it may not matter in when you're in nav mode. Where's the wind coming from? A little bit from our right. But see how aggressive that turn is, and see how I'm pretty close to the course I want? I know I want to get back on course, but it's really wanting me to come over hard and take a really big cut, but I'm not that much off course. Alright, climbing through 26,000 on our way to 35. It is 271 knots is what it should be commanding, and it is. And notice how when I bank, the needle's not moving on the flight director, because now it wants me to come back to the other side. So that needs a little bit of tuning on this flight director logic, and probably. So my hands are totally off the yoke now. So notice how the pitch isn't changing. I am in trim. And the autopilot will not engage. I wonder if it has something to do with my force feedback yoke. I wonder if for some reason it's not playing nicely with the force feedback yoke. Alright, my climb speed is still should be targeting 271 knots. For some reason the bug has gone up to 281 knots. 271 knots until Mach 736 is how the FMS computed this climb. Yeah, now it's wanting me to take a huge cut back, which I'm not going to do. So I'm just going to hold here. Yeah, something's a little funky with that auto flight logic. And I've got a pretty strong right turning tendency too. Trim isn't set up goofy. Huh. I have no idea why I can't engage the autopilot. It shouldn't be an issue. And since I'm hand flying, I can't. I'd love to pull up the CSS Discord and see if anybody else is reporting it and what's been done. See how the plane's turning to the right? But that shouldn't. Rudder, aileron. Little left aileron trim. See what happens. Coming up on 33 for 35. Boy, I do not want to hand fly to New York. It's too much like work. I mean, we can do it, but... See, now it should be giving me pretty strong nose-up command. 1,000 to go. It's a good C chord sound they recorded. Power's coming back. It's reducing my rate of climb to capture it. And now we should settle down into a cruise of set Mach 7.7. Let's try to engage the autopilot again. What the heck? Very odd. There we are, all trimmed up. Nothing. Still got a little right turning tendency. Throwing a little more left aileron trim. Well, it's going to be a long flight to New York. At least we have a decent tailwind, but still, holy cow. I'm going to, yeah, so me having to hand fly is going to greatly cut back on the amount of conversation I'm going to be able to have with you. So we'll catch up in a bit if I can get it fixed, or once we're on our descent into New York. In the meantime, we will see you in a few minutes. So here we are in descent into LaGuardia. Notice how I have flight level 180 set, because I had it set to cross mark at flight level 180, and it did not compute a flight path, and it's got us now at 180 for a while until we descend to hit Beauty at 10,000. But it's not quite computing the proper path. I am in VNav, I'm in LNav. I've got 180 selected here, so I'm not stopping it from going to 180. I'll put in 10,000 for the next crossing restriction. And it, now we're all centered up on the flight director, and it's a very slow, well, it might be a slow rate of descent now because we're past, but we should be below 10,000 feet. And notice how the vertical profile is showing that we're very high, which is correct. So I'm going to fly it down. Get back on path, which should be easier because it'll be a shallower descent to 10,000 between Mark and in Beauty. So a little bit of miscalculation going on there. I was so busy hand flying, I never reset the altimeter. Yeah, I've had to hand fly the whole time. Could not find a way to get the autopilot to engage, even though when there are no control forces being applied, and the airplane's not at an unusual attitude, not in departed flight or anything like that. No idea why. Hand fly is fine. Had a little bit of an aileron trim issue, but using the trim seems to have helped that. The way my Mosa yoke is interpreting this aircraft, the roll is a little sensitive. I've got it set to a preset for the 737, but I have not, really played with it. It seems to work fine in the PMD G737. Yeah, notice now it has us level at 18 on the vertical path indicator, but we want to cross Beauty at 10. So we've got 10 in the window. We're in VNav path, LNav, FMC speed, 260 knots. That's what it has set in there. I'm not sure why it's so slow. Usually that's governed by the cost index. And then I've got 10,000 in the altitude window. So let's see if it takes us down to 10. Luckily we've got 70 knots on the tail, so we're not going super slow. And actually we're still at 180, so I thought I was going to keep the descent going. I'm going to turn on our lights as if we are below. I hate this click spot. All right. Throttle's coming back. We're starting our descent again, so it should take us right down to 10. There goes our vertical path below us. We'll get caught back up. My whole, all my, what little flows I know of the 737, got very distracted with all the hand flying. All right. Now we're below, I believe it was 29 or 81 at LaGuardia. Let me check. I'm sorry, I'm not pulling it up in front of you so you can see what I'm doing. 29 or 87. Alright, 2987, set left and center. 10,000 feet of beauty. And notice now the green banana is crossing beauty. So it seems to be computing it properly now. It did not do such a great job on that first part of the descent. So we'll continue this hand-flown approach, hand-flown descent. I did, while you were away, I did set up the localizer frequency in the inbound course to LaGuardia. I'm just going to go to auto brake setting of 2, and we'll go to 3. LaGuardia is not overly long. That shouldn't be an issue. Alright, we're over Lizzie, on our way to Beauty, 10 at Beauty. We're still 1,000 feet high. Trying to keep that flight director centered. 1,000 to go. 4 miles to Beauty. Got our engine anti-ice on. There's 10,000 feet. We just hit Beauty, and now we're headed to Harlem. It should level us at 10. That is our last altitude on the approach. We're going to want to be at 1,700 for Queen. Whoops. Let's get back on altitude here. We got a ways to go before we're at LaGuardia. Haven't even had a chance to drink my coffee. See if it'll engage now. Oh. All right. Hand flying from Cleveland to New York City. So you said you wanted to be an airline pilot. All right, at 10,000. Hold this past Dreams. Be a left turn towards Apple after Dreams. At least we're not doing San Francisco to New York, huh? Alright, we're over Harlem. We're now on our way to Dreams, 10 miles out. Fabry, 316. Fabry is the outer marker. Do we have Queen in here? Yeah, we do. Okay. So after Apple, Proud, Queen. So now we can go to 1,700 feet. We're getting a little high here. 1,700 is our altitude at... well, we can be at 1,700 at Queen. Now the clouds are starting to break up a little bit. We had all those broken layers, and that's what the sim is giving us. Looks like a 737. Okay, we'll start the turn off of Dreams towards Apple. I wish I could manually change my heading. Makes me crazy not having my heading bug synced all the time. See how steep of a cut? See how aggressively it's commanding a left turn, and I am off course. I'm a little south of course, but not that much. We're going to level change down to 3,500. Which is our minimum altitude on this segment of the arrival. So do a level change down there. Should hold us about 250 knots. Yeah, sorry, not a lot of narration here as I really concentrate on flying the airplane. It's hard to talk and fly at the same time. After Apple, we can go to 2500. Let's just do that. I want to get configured and set up as quickly as possible, especially because I'm hand flying. I don't mind getting down early and leveling off and then giving me a chance to slow and everything else. Approach. Flaps 30. 131. Oops. Okay. So we're going to be flaps 30. 131 will be our ref. This should give us set our bugs on approach, but it's not. I wonder if it's because landing. Can't do this in hand fly. G, A, done. Let's go back here. How bad are we? Not bad, through 5200. 3-1, flaps 30. Yeah. Now will it do it? Yeah, that should move the bugs and set them. Let me just double check in the manual itself. Oh, this is the reset bugs. This is landing. There we go. Okay. Sorry, I had it wrong. Okay. I'm going to bring our range down here to 10 miles. We're down to 2,500 feet. Oh, it's not taking us to Proud. Where is it taking us? We should be going to Proud. Oh, it is taking us directly out to Queen. Alright. So now we want 1,700. I'm going to take us out just a little wider. Going right over the top of Kennedy. I'm sure they don't appreciate that. Let's go slow it to 210 knots. See if the autopilot arm now. Kind of glad it doesn't arm now. I'd be mad. All right. Yeah. So here's. Oops, I'm a little low. Coming right over the top of Kennedy. 1,700 feet. We're going to make the turn. That's an inner marker that's at Kennedy, setting that off. A little low, luckily I got some excess energy, so we'll bleed that off and we'll start the right low left turn in. In fact, I'm just going to lose the flight directors. Flaps 1. Actually, we'll go right to flaps 2. Looks like the airport coming up. Flaps 5. Comes the Loke. I see the Vassy, or the Pappy, whatever it happens to be. 1,700 to Fabry. Get back up to 1,700. Keep getting low. And then we descend right on down to 600 feet. Flaps 10. On the glide slope. Slow it up, gear down. Flaps 30. Speed brakes are armed. Auto brakes are set. Gears down. And our hand flying adventure is slowly wrapping up. .131 was our ref. Check. My descent rate's a little high. Start reducing it just a hair since we're on the, visually we're on the glide slope. Okay, we're getting a little low. Gusty winds today, so I want to carry a little extra speed. I don't mind being around 140. Chat. Heard you the first time. Hello. And we're just coming up on our short final here. Little fast. Bringing the power back. I don't mind a little bit extra speed. Like I said, it's kind of gusty today. It's really gusty. We're getting blown left. Correcting. Touchdown. No reverse. All right. Well, I bound the reverse. It didn't work. All right. Bring the flaps up. We shall exit. And we're going to pick a gate and go relax. All right. Here we are at LaGuardia. Bring your lights off. They're off. Off. Taxi lights on. Go ahead and start the APU. Ignition's off. Logo lights off. We can go to steady. On. Off. And we'll work our way to the terminal. Let's, I didn't have one in mind. Let's go here. Here, here, here. Gate 24, select. Yeah, let's do progressive taxi because I'm not sure where I'm going. Swissport. Huh? Oh, it's right there. Okay. Oh, jeez. All right. Well, that was quick. A24. It's right there. Excellent. Taxi light can come off. Bring the APU gen on bus. Alright, brakes are set. APU is on bus. APU bleed is on isolation valve. And we can shut them down. Let them up. GSX. Request deboarding. Open the door. Put down the stop. Oh, the jetway doesn't reach? That's a bummer. Ground ops. Cargo forward, cargo aft. Set the chocks. They pulled over the door, or the stairs. L2, we'll ask for the
Ladies
GPU.
and gentlemen, we invite you to exit the aircraft. Take a moment to ensure you have your personal...
Okay, so there we are, folks. The CSS 737.
and the overhead bin.
Quick wrap up here.
Please be careful while leaving the aircraft.
Well, obviously we had issues activating the autopilot. I actually reached out while we were
Wish you all the best.
flying onto the Discord. Haven't seen an answer yet. But that's you know, don't expect anything quick all the time. And I'm just checking to see if anybody responded. No. So we had issues with that. The hand flying was plentiful, and the airplane hand flies fine. As you saw, it was my own just having so much to do as a single pilot that was causing any altitude or heading deviations. But hey, here we are. We made it to LaGuardia from Cleveland in our autopilot deferred 737-500. So we're just we're happy to have made it. So we look forward to more improvements coming soon to the CSS. They have made quite a few improvements. It is slowly but surely getting there, and really looking forward to what's next. They've been very active on their Discord. I would encourage you to. They still have the model where you can sort of rent it before you buy it. If it's a plane that really interests you and you want to give it a try, it's a great way to do it. Otherwise, more to come. More to come, and you can bet the next time they have an update, I'll be sure to give it a try here on the channel. So once again, thanks for joining me very much for this somewhat eventful flight between Cleveland and New York's LaGuardia on a Continental liveried CSS 737-500. I am CJ, your classic jet sim pilot. Until next time, keep the shiny side up. We'll see you, folks.